But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east and Juliet is the sun. Shakespeare has inspired me through so much of what I've done in my life. It began with English class and really came to the forefront when I started producing plays. And now that I'm baking and cooking so much, I've got a bit more inspiration through him. Shakespeare was probably born around April 23rd, so I thought we should make something from one of his works. I have a book that was gifted to me by a friend, and it outlines many of the feasts, dishes, and meals that were featured in his works. And today, foodies, I want to make a made dish of Parmesan. These are essentially cheesy breadsticks served with a dipping sauce. I've never made these, and I was reading through the recipe book for the past couple weeks, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds really good, that looks really good, and I was collecting some of the ingredients and researching it, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. So I thought I'm going to start putting this together on film, and I was going through it today, and I was like, I don't have to bake it, and I thought that's going to be really interesting to see how it turns out, essentially not baked. So let's just get right to it. And what I've got here is I've got some toasted breadcrumbs, I've got some red wine, I've got some tarragon, I've got some Parmesan cheese, some horseradish, and then the book called for comfit, caraway comfit, and I was like, okay, what is that? And they don't really make it anymore. It's basically caraway seeds in brown sugar, and I thought, well, let's just use caraway seeds in brown sugar. So what it asks is just to put it all into the bowl, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pour everything all in there. There's the red wine. Oh, and I have to mince this tarragon up. So I'll just do that quickly. Oh, I love fresh herbs. They smell so good. And I'm going to use half of them, and the other half I'm going to use as a garnish. So there we go. So I'll just set that aside for a minute. And then my horseradish. And then we just stir it up. And I think I was really caught by surprise when it was like, you don't have to bake it. And I'm like, I wonder, because the cheese, I would expect it to melt and bind it all together. So I'm just going to use my hands now. It's coming together, and I think my hands are actually warming the cheese and pressing it just enough to bring it together. Okay, there we go. So it's shaping quite nicely, and it's coming together, which is really surprising, but I think they're going to taste a lot better when if they were baked. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bake them. You can see that it's quite crumbly, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shape it, and then I'm going to bake it. And I'm going to take a little handful of them, and I'm just going to make essentially little pucks or biscuits with them. There we go, and I'm going to set that onto a parchment paper lined baking sheet. And I can see it's crumbled a little bit, but I think it's going to melt a little bit, and it's going to solidify that way once it's heated. So there's another one. They smell amazing. The cheese and the horseradish. I never would have thought that combination would have been a good flavor combination, but it's really good. There's another one. They don't look like much on the pan, and I'm hoping they turn out better. I'm gonna bake these in a preheated oven of 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes or until they're toasty looking. See you in a moment. These look pretty good. I baked them for 10 minutes in my oven, and I was a little hesitant because I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to bake them, but I'm like, you know what? They were just gonna crumble to nothing if I didn't bake them, and I can see like they've really come together really nicely, and I'm actually excited to try them. So I'm gonna set them aside because there's a few more things to do. I've got a sauce, which is Dijon mustard and some brown sugar, and you just mix that up. I'm gonna break up that brown sugar a little bit, and I thought how fitting I make my own mustard that I'd be using something that would be a little old-timey, so you can still see the seeds, like the mustard seeds in there, which is nice. Okay, so I think that's nicely mixed up. I'm gonna leave the spoon right in it. And then this, so we've got more of the caraway comfy. And I'm gonna mix that up a little bit with the brown sugar just to coat them a little bit. I'm not going to use all of this horseradish. I'm just going to use a little tiny bit just to get the flavor in there. There we go. This is just more of a sprinkling that goes on top. Okay, there we go. And let's put these on a plate. I'll just brush off the edges a little bit. Oh, look at how golden they are underneath. Oh, that looks really nice. Oh yeah, they're all just beautiful and golden. Oh my goodness. Some of the first ones that I made aren't the prettiest to look at, so they might just have to go on my stomach. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, those look really nice. Oh, I didn't think that was gonna hold because it was all crumbly, but look at the underside, so nice. Okay, so we spread that out. And our sauce goes in the middle. And that little one, I don't know if we'll fit that. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then we take this and just lightly sprinkle this just to give it a bit more flavor, I'm assuming. And look at that, a made dish of Parmesan. And in the book, it says that Shakespeare uses cheeses in situations ranging from comic to charming. In the Merry Wives of Windsor, Falstaff, trying to protect himself from the pinches of his tormentors, who were dressed as fairies, exclaims, "Heavens defend me from that Welsh fairy, lest he transform me to a piece of cheese." Well, I want to try this piece of cheese and see what it's like. It smells absolutely divine. Mmm. I'm so glad I baked them because it's got that little bit of crunch on the outside and the cheese melted to hold it all together as a binding agent. Mmm. This is really good. They're dense little sticks, but they're really good. I really like them. I kind of want to take a bit more of that dip. There we go. If you're looking for the full recipe, visit glutenfreeguy.ca. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. Thanks for watching. Mmm.